Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the rocky and, unfortunately, very poor lands of Agartha. I am Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dominions 4, a 7-player free-for-all campaign. That's a bit of a mouthful. I'm back at turn number 3 because I wanted to get into the message that I sent, which I did not mention in the previous episode, that is to Shiniyama, where I basically say we seek to expand our borders peacefully to acquire more stone with which to carve statues. This does not put us at odds with you. And finally, I didn't show you what I was doing in terms of producing. So I produced Gunter, a priest. And the reason why I did this is because, as I mentioned in the previous episode, you want to have multiple expansion armies as soon as you can. So I don't necessarily want BirdieBot to go back to Agartha to get more troops. As a result, I need someone capable of leading Shard Guard that can bless them. Now, the problem with this, and you will see this more fully in a later episode, is that these guys are incredibly squishy, and the commands are really bad. So you can tell them to stay behind the troops, but they don't listen, and they rush forward and die. So you gotta be careful about these human priests. Anyway, in terms of recruitment, I'm recruiting more Shard Guard. As you can see, I only have 1 Troglodyte, since I don't have nearly as much money as I expected to, and a Light Infantry. So now we're going to look at turn number 4. A messenger has arrived from man. Let's see what they have to say. Greetings, dwellers of the deep. Your terms are most acceptable, and as a gesture of goodwill, we will give some indication of our location. You already know where they're located because I told you in the previous episode, but at this time, I didn't. And so he's giving me kind of a vague notion of where his capital is here. And Asphodel, randomly, Dwarf Comic, sent me 1 Death Gem. And of course, you could have got this information from looking at the comments, but since I didn't flat out state in the previous episode who was who, let me do so now. Daz Tactic is Man, Dwarf Comic is Asphodel, Wade Star is Vanheim, Tortuga Power is Shinuyama, Battle Moose is Ulm, Sabouts is Ermor, and that's everyone. Okay, cool. There's also a battle in White Peaks. Again, BirdieBot's army. Again, same strategy. This one should go better because there aren't as many ranged troops. And it does. You can already see my guys regenerating, so that's good. Although it does clump up. I don't like how it tends to clump up. I wish the Troglodytes would stay off to the bottom of the screen more, but whatever. We took it with only losing 2 light infantries. So our next step is Golem range, and Sneaky Pete is now coming down to Muspel. I've decided, since Daz has given me a general idea of where his location is, that I'm going to move my scout in that general location, since he's the only person currently who I know where they sort of are. I send a message to Daz back, based on his message to me of where he's located. It appears we are quite close together, as we are also in the Great Mountains north of the Wastes. By guarding each other's backs, perhaps we both will survive the terror that comes. We smell death on the air, and sense corruption in the earth. The dead walk. And as far as recruitment, I am now 4 Shard Guards. I have enough production now to get 4 Shard Guards. I get 1 Troglodyte, 3 Heavy Infantry, and then another Troglodyte. I'm trying to figure out why I did that. Anyway. I think it's just because I didn't know if I'd have the resources to get another Troglodyte. So I have 2 mages now researching, although it's not really doing much for me. And Gunter is just waiting here for when it's going to be his time to shine. Alright, turn number 5. A messenger has arrived from Asphodel. If you are in need of help, feel free to call on us to assist. So again, Dwarf Comic, despite being a really nice guy and really cool guy, is playing one of the most horrible nations in the game, a nation basically whose goal is to exterminate all life. It's actually from Dominions 2 or 3, where it used to not be a separate nation, but used to be a kind of sub-nation of Pangaea that you could have chosen had you chosen scales in a certain way. Like, had you chosen death scales for Pangaea, it would have given you the option to play as this. It's called Carrion Woods, and it essentially means that the forest creatures are so just tired by the intrusions of mankind upon their lands that they have started death worshipping and carrion, like think grubs and worms and just horrible writhing masses of terror are taking over. So it's basically similar in the sense to Urmor and their ghostly equivalent, in that you've got a lot of free spawn, and they're mostly mannequins, which are skeletons that have been animated by vines. So they're kind of an evil dark nation, but he's a really nice guy, and he's telling me that he wants to help me out. Meanwhile, battle in Golem range. Same stuff we're used to. Birdiebot just cleaning house. These are just tribesmen. And we pretty much mow them over. Again, troglodytes, I wish they would kind of continue onward instead of coming here, but whatever. So we are able to take that province with no losses. So now I decide that I have what it takes to take the throne. Not only will it provide my capital with more resources, but it will give me a throne. So I'm moving Birdiebot and her army down there, while moving Gunter to assist with all of the Shard Guard he can carry, which at this point is 10. I'm leaving my troglodytes and infantry back here in the capital. Other things of note, Sneaky Pete is moving over to Haloma. I notice a red candle here in Griffin Spires. And that's about that. It's starting to rain outside, so hopefully that doesn't bother you guys. I do send a message to Asphodel, however, where I say, so you're a friendly bunch of animated vines and skeletons looking to wipe out all life. Good to know. As we revere our fallen ancestors, we appreciate your gift of a death gem, and are pleased to offer you a binding peace treaty for 12 months. Renewable. So this is different than the peace treaty that I have with Daz, and the reason why is because there's really no way that Dwarf Comic and I can have a lasting peace. I mean, he essentially wants to exterminate all life, and we are essentially creatures that need to live. So instead of giving him kind of a open peace treaty forever, we're offering him a 12-month peace treaty, and at that point we can decide whether or not we want to continue it or not. However, since he did give us a death gem, we gave him an earth gem, which I thought was pretty fitting for Agartha, as we are a nation of underground beings, despite the fact that in this particular world we are apparently not underground. But a symbol of the earth from which we are all born and to which we return. And I sent him an earth gem, as I said. So that's that. So now let's look at turn number 6. A messenger has arrived from Man. Greetings, workers of mud and clay. If you are indeed to our north, then we will need to work out acceptable borders for our two peoples. The location of the Grail Castle, this is the point where he shares to me his location. Share this with no one, your faithful ally. Well, I'm sharing it with all of you who are watching, but theoretically you're not supposed to go and tell anybody else, so that is fair. And also, as I showed you in the first episode with the map, we all pretty much know where everyone is. But there was a battle in the Great Feral, so this is the Throne Province against the Barbarians. This is the combined armies of Birdiebot and Gunter. So as you can see, I've got my Shard Guard in front in a line, followed up by the infantry in a line. I was hoping they were back enough to not take the charge from the Barbarians. Unfortunately, they did, but it didn't hurt any of them. So that was good. The Troglodytes are actually doing the right thing here by coming in from the back, though it's costing them. In fact, they're fleeing. They've been kicked out of morale. But it didn't take long for us to rout the Barbarians. So we ended up losing 3 light infantries and 1 troglodyte. All of our Shard Guards survived, as did our leaders. And we now have a Throne Province. So now I'm moving Gunter, along with 10 of the Shard Guard, to Bithynia to take another province, because I don't want to stop my expansion, but I do want Birdiebot here to claim the throne. Birdiebot also has become heroic. She has heroic precision, which is better for a mage, but since she does have the smite ability, I guess that's good, although I think smite might have 100% precision already. Regardless, she also has a star of experience. So Gunter's doing that, she's claiming the throne, which by the way we found is the Throne of Flames, which gives our blessed troops fire resistance +5. Would have been great if Agartha was in this, or not Agartha, if Abyssia was in this campaign. They are not, unfortunately. I think the only country here that really uses fire to any great effect is Shinuyama. But again, it gives us 2 fire gems and some fire resistance, and it does spread our dominion, which against the forces of Urmor. At this time, I don't know where they're located, but as I showed you in the last episode, I know that they are here in the future. So being able to protect my dominion against theirs is a really big deal. Meanwhile, I am sending pawns here, my first golem crafter, down into Trollland. He's basically going to follow in the wake of BirdieBot and search for magic sites, because I need earth gems really badly. really badly. And Sneaky Pete is coming down here, again, to find Daz, but we've also discovered Vanheim here in Darkwoods. Now, Vanheim is an interesting nation because they have the sailing ability, so this doesn't tell me at all where their capital is. They could be anywhere within one turn sailing from here. So they could be any... I mean, you know from the map in the first episode that I know where they are. They're here. But at this point in the game, I don't. So as far as I know, they could be anywhere around here. And I actually think that they start here. I did the math, and I assumed that this is where their capital was, because I see them in a future turn here. But it turns out not. It turns out they're here. If my knowledge as of this moment is correct, which I'll admit is based on diplomacy, so it might not be. Did I send a message? I did. I sent a message back to Daz. Our hidden underground cavern metropolis, which is neither hidden nor underground, nor in a cavern, nor a metropolis, is to the north in 118. Be careful, as our scouts have spotted Vanheim to the west in the dark woods. Though this is not their capital, we are soon to conquer the Failden Forest, but that province is 2 days' journey from both your capital and ours. We can discuss who should receive it, but as we intend to build a castle there, I propose that in good faith, neither of us, whichever we determine will get it, will build anything. So basically a demilitarized zone. Do you know anything about the east? The Pale Ones seek entry into the water, and this is one of the 2 possible paths, as well as some hills and swamps, well suited to our kind. At this point, I'm still thinking there's a chance I might make it to the water and colonize it, but I discover soon that that's just not a really valid option. And as you can see from the information here, these provinces are poor as shit. So I'm really hurting in terms of money. As far as recruitment, I am able to get with my production more Shard Guard, but I've completely given up on Troglodytes, and now are focusing on medium infantry at this point, along with my Shard Guard. Alright. That was turn 6, right? So let's go to turn 7. Alright, a messenger has arrived from Asphodel. Remove all life. Not certain how that message was sent. Possibly those elitist man have whispered these words to you. Now, it's funny because Dwarf Comic is definitely trying to raise suspicion of me, but also, I'm sure, others against Daz. So it's kind of funny. Dwarf Comic, by the way, is the winner of the previous 4-player multiplayer game, so he's probably the best out of all of us in terms of actually how well we all play Dominions. So he knows what he's doing. He's trying to create distrust between everyone and Man, probably because Man he feels is is one of his strongest threats. Although I don't necessarily know if that's the case, because Man's pretty far away from him. I'd say that if you look at the map, which I'll put up again to show you, it appears that really Ulm and Ermor are probably more threats to him at this point than Man. But he is agreeing to our 12-month alliance. Or not alliance necessarily, I didn't say alliance. It was a 12-month peace treaty where we don't attack each other. And he's telling me where his capital is, which I am believing. So as you see on the map, that's where I put his capital. He could be lying, but he's so far away from me that really peace with Asphodel is a no-brainer at this point, because there's no way we'd even be at war anyway. I've also got to level 1 in enchantment. BirdieBot has claimed the Throne of Flame, so I'm the first player to claim a throne, which may present an image of strength, but it is an image that is but illusion, because I am not strong at all. And I hope that this doesn't encourage the other players to think, oh crap, Marcus is taking the lead, we need to get rid of him, because I certainly am not in any position to do well at all. And Bethany, now this is an interesting battle because this is our first battle without BirdieBot. This is just regular priest guy, and I'm experimenting with ways to deal with this. Right now I just have a line of our Shard Guard with the priests behind to bless them. But I watch, you see, I watch this battle, and I notice this guy. Oh, look at him, he's moving forward. So I think, oh crap, Marcus, this is going to be a problem. So I decide to, by the way, we don't lose anything. I decide to move him further back. I move everyone further back, actually. But I move him a little bit further back, hoping that he won't die. And I send him up to Obelshin, which you'll notice, is the first farmland province that I'm able to take, or to at least attempt to take. There are no other farmland provinces anywhere. There's this one here, but sadly enough, the most fertile area in the entire game is right here around this lake. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 farmland provinces. I know this because I played this map when I did my Byzantine Pythium campaign. And where's Urmor? Right there. Where's Asphodel? Right there. So the two countries that don't need gold and whose dominion kills population, at least I know for a fact Urmor's does. I'm not entirely sure if Asphodel's does. They're right here in the best income area of the game. So that sucks for all of us, because their dominions are going to be able to whittle down the population of these areas, and if they're not liberated quickly, they could be completely died out. Now, one thing I got to mention to those of you who aren't familiar with the game is that you could have the best growth dominion there is. You can have 3 growth, you can have a spell in place, a global spell that increases growth, you could have a throne captured that increases growth, but if a population is 0, it has nowhere to go. So if Urmor is able to completely whittle down a population to nothing, there is no saving that province. That province is now worthless for the rest of the game, which is why in multiplayer games, either they normally don't allow Urmor to even play, to even exist, or if they do, everyone immediately goes after them and tries to kill them, because it just makes life terrible for everyone else. Now, I don't think it necessarily needs to be that way. I think in Dominions 5, the developers should have like a colonize ability, which allows you maybe to settle new settlers, or just over time maybe settlers from your provinces migrate into the 0 provinces. As long as the dominion of evil is removed from it and it starts becoming a healthy, fertile place, you would think that just on their natural free will, humans would say, hey, look at this wonderful empty plains province where nobody lives, with tons of animals and trees and life. Let's move there and start a home. Like, that just makes sense. But currently they don't. So I hope in the future that's a possibility. It also makes Urmor a bit more viable in multiplayer, because then you're not the big bad as much. Meanwhile, he is searching for magic sites in Trollland. I've recruited an independent commander in Winter Peaks. In Agartha, I have recruited another research mage, got more Sharguard and medium infantry, and I'm getting another golem crafter. Why am I doing this? Well, because I'm now at level 1 enchantment, which means I can start summoning attentive statues, which again are not sacred, but are still valuable and allow me to use my earth gem income. My fire gem income, I really don't have much I can do with it at this time. Eventually, I guess I could use them for Ruax Pact, which does require fire gems. Okay, cool. And can only be cast in my capital, the Roots of the Earth. But hey, I'll take it. At least it's not can only be cast in caves, in which case I'd be even more screwed than I already am. So let's see here. I sent numerous messages. I sent a message to Asphodel. Oh, actually, no, I don't want to track that. I want to look at it. We hesitate to divulge the location of our cave cities, but fair is fair, and you shall find out soon enough regardless. We are in 118. Yeah, I figure, Dwarf Comic is the spy master of this game. He knows everything anyway, so I felt, especially because we're so far apart, I felt I had nothing to lose by telling him where my capital is, and I wasn't going to be a dick. Even if he's lying to me where his capital is, like, he might not be, and so I didn't want to be that guy. So then, I'm basically telling Daz here that I'm giving him an update on the situation. I'm treating Daz as a full ally, and I'm saying our scouts have spotted Bakemono to our west, your northwest, in the Whalewind waters, which we have coded 132 on our maps. I'm trying to be in character, but you know what, screw it. It's too hard. They border the province of Darkwoods that is claimed by Vanheim. We are moving closer to try to locate Van's capital as we approach from 2 sides now, and may soon border them. I still see no movement by you toward Felden Forest. Perhaps our messengers are both in transit, and I have yet to hear your reply. I wish to claim it to secure a western path to our mutual foes, so that we can attack in tandem. It is worrying that the Bakemono have entered the water first, as they now can raise an army of sea creatures, while we have yet to even glimpse the sun's reflection off the sea. I have learned that Asphodel is to my north, your south, fairly far from both of us, but still due to our small world, 5 to 6 provinces at most. I fear soon that we all shall soon reach the limits of our free expansion. He speaks honeyed words and appears to seek peace, and we are willing to believe him for now. As you may have seen, we have claimed the Throne of Fire, a very minor throne. This is not to be seen as an act of either aggression or hubris, but rather as it bordered our capital, we needed its resources. Any intelligence reports from you would be most welcome. I send a quick follow-up message just basically saying, That was the Throne of Flames that we have claimed, not the Throne of Fire. Who was to know that this odd land should have them both? Life is much simpler underground. As you can see from... And I haven't shown you this yet, so I'm sorry about that. Where the hell is it? Statistics? There we go. Thrones. There is the Throne of Flames, which is a level 1 throne that I have, but there's also the Throne of Fire, which is a level 2 throne that I do not have. Now, I don't want it to be seen that I have this one, because this one... Well, actually it doesn't. I thought it maybe increased the heat scales of the world, but it doesn't. So that's fine. It just produces 2 fire gems, but it doesn't enable cool recruitment. Meanwhile, we have one level 3 throne, the Throne of Splendor. That might be the Zeus one down here. I'm not entirely sure. Then we have Throne of the First Age, the Throne of the Fortune, Throne of Iron, and the Throne of Fire, and the Throne of Water. Those are the level 2 thrones. And then we have the Throne of the Second Age, Winter, Law, War, Brass, and Lower. And those are all level 1s. Blood Slaves. Earth and Fire and Gold. That's a good one. Attack and Morale. That's a good one. Order +1. That's great. If I could find that one, that would be fan-frickin-tastic. Cold +1. I mean, it wouldn't hurt me. It would turn me into Heat +2 instead of Heat +3. And 1 Water Gem and a Mage of Winter. We've already looked at this one. Iron Throne, 100 resources, and an Adept of the Iron Order. I don't need it necessarily, but the 2 Dominion spread is good. Hopefully Ermor won't get it. Throne of Fortune. Luck +1. That would be great for me, because we currently have Misfortune to 2. So Luck +1 would be great. Plus it would give me a supply of Astral Pearls, which I currently don't have. And that will allow my Pretender to do some astral stuff. Strength +1. Dominion 2. Again, kind of a non-throne. Doesn't do too much. Splendor gives... Oh, if I could get this... I mean, this is the Zeus one, then we're in trouble because it's heavily defended. But if I could get this and my Shard Guard and my statues could have Awe on top of their regeneration and reinvigoration, we would be unstoppable. You would see little pink armored worms taking over the entire world. And finally, the First Age throne increases magic. Not part of our strategy, really. So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end of turn number 7 and the end of episode number 2. So once again, I am Marcus Aurelius. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.